So it's been more than a week ever since the Reze Arc movie came out for Chainsaw Man, and all I gotta say is that it's phenomenal. Now, I'm not going to try and sound like everybody else on the internet saying that it's magnificent, it's a 10 out of 10. Don't get me wrong, it is, because it's probably one of the greatest anime films that have ever come out. But I will say that if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you do, because it is just, again, a phenomenal movie. Now, I will say this portion of the video, no spoilers. All I'm going to say is that it is meant to be a movie, not in the episode format. It is phenomenal as a movie, and you will only get that experience if you watch it in theaters. Now, I haven't tried watching it at home on my computer, but if I do, I'm probably still going to recommend watching it in a theater near you, because it is just very phenomenal. The music, the animation, the atmosphere that the movie brings to the theater is just insane. So I highly recommend, again, watch the goddamn movie if you haven't already, because if you don't, you're going to be missing out. You're not going to be able to talk about the movie with anybody else because you're a loser. Now, this is where we do get into spoiler territory, so if you haven't watched it, click off. But yeah, after the season had ended off with somebody getting kicked in the balls, we get that same level of pain at the end of the film, because my gosh, I don't know how they did it, but comparing reading the Reze arc to watching it in a theater format, it's incredible. It feels as if I have watched or read the Reze arc all over again, because that whole experience was just phenomenal. From the soundtrack to the animation to the character acting, it just blew me away, and I couldn't like hold back in the anticipation of what was to come. And it's just absolutely phenomenal, and they get it, they killed it. It's a 10 out of 10, and obviously, like everybody else, I would also agree that the Reze arc film movie was a lot better than Demon Slayer, because Demon Slayer was just episodes crumbled up together and it was meh. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you can take away from this movie that still stick with you, because again, I mentioned earlier, it's been a week and a few days that I've watched this movie, and it still sticks and resonates with me, because across my TikTok For You page, I still can never escape the In the Pool or In the Sea soundtrack. It's crazy phenomenal, and again, it's very emotional. But aside from the soundtrack, like In the Pool and In the Sea, there are a lot of things that also play out, like Iris Out, the opening of the movie, which is phenomenal. Again, it's fun, it's crazy, it's just like Chainsaw Man, it's awesome. But when you look into the lyrics, it kind of feeds into what the story is going to be about, because if you look into the lyrics a little bit, you kind of see that the person singing kind of represents Denji. And although this is at the very beginning of the movie and Reze is yet to be introduced, you can kind of tell that where the direction is headed to, because it kind of sounds like the song is about falling in love with somebody at first sight, but it still has that feel of Chainsaw Man from the very first opening of the first season. But then when you get into the middle of the movie, you get In the Pool, and then towards the end you get In the Sea, which are kind of the same song, but depending on the context, like let's say for instance the pool scene, it's more euphoric, melodic, and joyful. It's beautiful, and that represents the childlike life that Reze and Denji just didn't have, but they are experiencing it for the first time together. And we also get a very big symbolic scene with a butterfly web and a spider, and you can interpret that in many ways, but I like to think that the web is Denji, the butterfly is Reze, and the spider is Makima. But then you get to the end of the movie, and that's where we get the In the Sea, which again still kind of makes me think about Denji being the spider, because in that scene we get Denji trapping Reze in his chains, the web. Again, the one being entrapped is Reze, the butterfly, and the spider is Makima, who is watching everything unfold. And if you stuck around towards the end of the movie and haven't walked out bawling your eyes, you will see that Makima would eventually, seemingly, spoilers again, if you haven't caught up with the manga, I highly suggest you do, supposedly kills Reze. Now, Reze isn't actually dead at this point of the movie, but it really does look like that. But she does come back for a very small moment, and I'm not going to go any further with that. But yeah, we get the same sound from In the Pool, but in this case it's called In the Sea, and it is more depressing than the first time we've heard it. It's slow, it's mournful, it's sorrowful, dude. I don't know how to tell you, but although no one is dying in that specific scene, the ideals and the dream that they had together or wanted is dying. And then you get to the gosh darn end credits, the song named Jane Doe. Jane Doe is a term that is used for somebody that doesn't have a specific name, or for legal reasons aren't going to give a specific name, so they replace it with a Jane Doe as a placeholder name so that the person can stay anonymous, which just fits Reze so gosh darn perfectly. I mean, come on, dude, if you've watched the movie, you just see it one for one. But then you listen to the song, and the song is amazing. The song sounds like it's crying. The music, I don't know what instrument it is. I've heard of that it's an electric violin or is a synthesizer or some other stuff like that. But a lot of the times when you hear the wee, it sounds like the song itself is crying, and that's just not understanding the lyrics at all. But when you do listen to the lyrics, my gosh, is it perfect, because it literally is about Reze and Denji. They're singing a song together, exchanging words for one another, but you find out later on where the male singer Kenshi, who is playing Denji, of course, in this song, telling Reze to run away together and fill the world with mistakes, which just, again, a one for one with the movie, because Reze has killed so many people within this movie because she's blowing up the entire city. But Denji is accepting her for who she is and what she's done, regardless of the things that she's done. I mean, come on, she's got so many bodies. But Denji, being Denji, will accept anything and want to live a future with her. And at that point of the song, after Kenshi sings "Let's Fill the World with Mistakes," he asks again, "Where is she? Let's play." But this time the female lead doesn't respond. Correlates to the very end of the movie where Reze is supposedly running towards Denji in the alleyway to meet him at the coffee shop, the one that she promised to meet him at. Well, not promised, but Denji stated that he was going to wait there no matter how long it took. And of course, Reze, being the person that she was having second thoughts because she didn't want to be the one to ruin or make Denji suffer. So she wants to run away, but second guesses herself and runs towards Denji, but unfortunately meets Makima first. And that's where we get that scene where she's in a pool of blood looking out the window and saying that she never went to school either. Yeah, dude, it's so sad, man. And that's the music. I don't know. I'm a music fanatic. I don't study music, but I will say that when there is a good soundtrack, I already know that the film is going to be brought from here to all the way up there. And it's just a beautiful thing. I forgot the name of the person that made the music for this movie, but he's also worked on Devilman Crybaby, which another phenomenal series, very dark compared to Chainsaw Man, but the music is beautiful once again. But that's enough with the soundtrack, because now we're going to be talking about the animation, and the animation is on a whole nother level. Now, if you're going to compare one for one on Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man, I'm still going to side with Chainsaw Man because the direction that they took just fits so perfectly in a movie format yet again. Now, I will say that Demon Slayer also does have a step up in animation, because Ufotable is, again, on steroids when it comes to animation, and you will not be left unsatisfied for an anime that Ufotable animates. It's going to look crazy. It's going to be eye candy. But it's just something about the direction that Mappa took for this movie for it to feel better. Although it doesn't have the insane amounts of CGI, although it didn't have the special effects that Ufotable usually does, because when you're watching an anime that's animated by Ufotable, you know it's Ufotable. But Mappa just did something incredibly insane that it just, the bright colors, the explosions, the impact frames, everything that was done by Mappa was just to the T perfect. And my gosh, dude, I would love to keep watching this movie over and over again, but if I did, I wouldn't be making this video. I wouldn't even be going to school. My gosh, I'm failing my freaking classes. God damn it. But yeah, again, I'm caught up with the manga. I'm not a new Chainsaw Man watcher or reader. I've been stuck with that series for quite a while. But yeah, if you're having second thoughts of ever watching or reading Chainsaw Man, thinking that it's going to be a Gunner anime, it is really not that much. I mean, on a surface level, yeah, I guess you can make that argument, but at the same time, when you really look into the story, Denji is very misunderstood and is taken advantage of by so many people around him. And that's what makes the Reze story so beautiful, because Reze, although was out to kill Denji from the very beginning, she doesn't, because she figures out very quickly that Denji and her grew up in a similar environment. People only take advantage of their abilities. And in a way, Reze sees that and has second thoughts of killing him on the spot. And they soon develop a bond, regardless of how big or small it was. But it was a genuine bond that they built for one another. Again, that's where the shaving of the Gunner filter comes off, because once you start seeing that there are actual connections for each character that Denji comes across, you'll start to see that this guy is just not normal. But yeah, if y'all have watched this movie or plan on watching it, again, watch it. If you've watched it, let me know what y'all thought about it. And in the making of this video, I've already seen countless of other videos on TikTok arguing who is better, Reze or Bakugo, in terms of explosions. If they were to fight one-on-one, who would come on top? Well, obviously Reze, because 1, she's adorable, 2, she's cool, 3, she has a sad backstory, and 4, it's Reze. Come on, dude. But all jokes aside, I hate power scalers. I don't ever want to do a power scaling video. If I ever do, then y'all are probably never going to see me ever again. Power scaling, it sucks. all it really just comes down to is which fandom is more vocal than others and which fandom has better art than others, because they're seeing so many images of Reze holding Bakugo's head, and yeah, it just does not look pretty. I just want to leave two animes separate from one another and enjoy both of them separately. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate y'all for hanging around. Y'all have a wonderful day. And if y'all want to see more videos like this, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, as it does help out on my channel. Appreciate y'all for hanging around, and I'll see y'all next time. Adios.